Portland to Philly, clean toilets for a living, ended up on the Big Bang Theory and then didn't write about it, I'd be pretty pissed. So I just wanted to know, I realized when I wrote this book that I really wanted to inspire younger people to quit doing what their parents tell them to do and just do whatever the hell they want to do, because everyone's dreams can come true. That I wrote myself. I'm just looking, is it time? Can I have questions? Is that okay? Yeah, you guys ask me questions because it's so much more fun that way. No one wants to ask me. Thank you so much. I really exciting. Don't be shy, just ask me anything literally. Like, don't be shy, I'm very open.
Take one from this other lady right here.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, I'm also from Portland, and I was just wondering if you lived there longer than your Portland State experience at all.
No, I went to University of Portland. I was there for 4 years. It's where I began to drink beer, and alcohol was great beer they have in Portland. It's interesting that I went from New Delhi to Portland because I'm really glad that was my first experience of America, because it's such an open-minded place. You know, really open-minded. Sorry, there's children in the audience.
Do you ever go back home, and how is your fan base over there with you and inspiration wise?
Yeah, I mean, I go home once a year. My parents live there, in New Delhi, so I go home once a year for Christmas, or in the summer, but it's so hot in the summer, so I prefer Christmas. And it's huge. The show is really big in India as it is all over the world. I feel very proud that I'm Indian, that I got to do this in America, and sort of do something that not a lot of people have, maybe no one has done. Now it's sort of, a lot more people are coming into the industry. So the fan base is huge. I love my fans, and I love going home.
Take one from this other lady right here.
It's also the worst angle standing up because you get like all the chin. All the pictures I just stand like this.
My boyfriend and I saw you in The Spoils.
Oh,
it was
thank
a
you.
great play, and you were great in it.
Spoils is a play that Jesse Eisenberg wrote a play this summer that me and him were in. It was an off-Broadway play, and he's an incredible writer, incredible actor. He's become a really good friend.
It was a great show, and you were great in it. Are you interested in more theatre?
Yeah, I think so. It's a grind. Theatre's a grind. I have to be a little more careful next time before I tell my wife, let's move to New York for 3 months, and I'm just going to be an ass to you for 3 months because I don't know how to be normal after doing a play like that. You come home and then you just want a martini and you want to yell at everyone, and I had a really... Maybe this is too much to reveal, but it's... You want me to tell a story? Do you even know the story I'm about to tell? Yeah? No? You don't know the story. I'll tell you anyway. I have to look at her, otherwise I get into a lot of trouble. I remember I finished the play. In this play, it's a really funny play, but in the end, my character has an emotional breakdown and punches Jesse Eisenberg in the face. So I'm doing this play, and I come home one day after the play. My parents are visiting from New Delhi, so we're cramped up in this 2-bedroom apartment, my wife and my parents. And I come home, I'm exhausted and emotional, and they're watching 100-Foot Journey, right? Which is a movie with Manish Dayal, who's a good friend of mine, who's an Indian in the lead role with all these great actors. And I just come home and they're like, my dad's like, Beta, have you seen this movie? It's like such an incredible movie. What a great actor, in this lead, like what a great Indian actor. Like he's doing such great things. And I just lost it. And I went into my room and I slammed the door. I was like, you guys are such traitors, I was telling my wife, how would you like it if I was coming home and watching some other model on the runway saying, you don't know what it's like to be an actor, I'm so insecure all the time. And while you're watching Manish Dayal, you should just go marry him. And then I started crying. And then I started hysterically laughing. I realized how absolutely absurd I was being. So, don't be an actor, I guess, that's what I'm trying to say. It was too late, I should have written that story in the book. Right? He's a great actor, so I have no complaints about him. How are you?
I love the show.
Thank
How
you.
close are some of the skits when you're talking to your parents to your real life?
It's close. My parents don't like to come on Skype for some reason. They call it the Skype. Like the Skype, you want to do the Skype. And then now they're doing iChat, which my parents have started because I got them. So now everyone in the family is using iPhones, so we can iChat with everyone. But the problem is like, I don't think they understand angles. I think everyone has this, right? Like when your parents put it on and literally it's like here. My mom is like, it's like here. And they're lying down, it's like, what are you doing? And then they're like, suddenly it's upside down and my dad's ear is so it's fun, it's pretty close to them. It is amazing how technology has made the world smaller though. I'm doing this on Periscope and there's people from Saudi Arabia watching. Are we getting good comments from where? Anywhere good? Romania? Russia? Are you just making up countries now?
We'll take one over here.
Hello, Kunal, how are you?
I'm doing well, how are you?
Awesome, thank you. It's cool having exchange with you. What was one of the best experiences you've had on the set of The Big Bang Theory?
It's pretty cool when Stephen Hawking came on set. It's funny, he was, I told the story today much, but I'll tell you guys. He came to do, so when we actually shot with Stephen Hawking, it was only Sheldon and Stephen Hawking, and they were in an office, his actual office. But then he came to see the rehearsal of that episode. We're in this scene in this cafeteria, and Simon Helberg, who plays Wolowitz, starts doing the Stephen Hawking voice because it's in the scene. So he's doing the Stephen Hawking voice, and Stephen Hawking is sitting there. This is gonna be so bad, And then he basically, I don't know, and Stephen, he has the biggest smile on his face. He's smiling. And apparently he loved it so much that he went home and he read the script. So that was, again, he read the script for the second or third time in a row and he loved it. So that was a pretty cool moment. I still remember the episode when Penny gives Sheldon Leonard Nimoy's napkin. And he was like, the robot has a heart, he's like hugging her. And then when he tells Amy that he loves her, that's what's so beautiful about the show, being part of the show, is all these guys have such a big heart. And they really love each other, so, yeah. I don't know if I answered, I just said a bunch of nonsense. It's been a long year.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are
Good,
you?
I'm doing well.
Good. How did you motivate yourself to write a full book?
How did I motivate myself?
Yeah.
I mean, I quit, how many times? Like 3 times I called my book agent Rob and my editor Peter and I said, I'm quitting. I can't do this, I can't write about my life, I'm a bad writer, I'm going too much detail into people are going to judge me, I can't do this. These guys motivated me really because they really forced me, they pushed me towards telling the story and it was scary. It's really scary writing about your life. Because I've tried to be so private about everything, I'm not in TMZ or outside some club doing what's up, it's not my life. So I was just surrounded by the right people, to be completely honest. I wish I could give myself a pat on the back, but I was just surrounding myself with people who had experience in this, and they pushed me through. And here we are. Yeah. Hi.
I also went to Temple and lived in Philadelphia, so I gotta ask, favorite cheesesteak place?
I mean, the problem with cheesesteaks is, in theory, they sound amazing, but in actuality, when I eat one, it's like a nuclear bomb is about to go off. But I remember when I got into Temple University, I'm a British citizen, I was born in London, but I grew up in India, I had to get my visa renewed, to go to college. And I went and I had to give the interview at the American Embassy in New Delhi. That's where I had to do it. And they always grill you, So I go to the interview and I'm like, man, what if I don't get my visa? Everyone, and you're standing in that line for 3 hours and it's hot as balls. And you go in and you're sweaty and nervous, and then I went in and he's like, Philadelphia, huh? I was like, yeah. He's like, Pat's or Geno's. That's the name of the two famous cheesesteak places. He said, Pat's or Geno's. And I said, Pat's? And I kid you not, he stamped my visa. He said, welcome to America. I should have written that story in the book. Hey, can you just return your copies? I'll just work on it tonight. I'll give them back. I'll give them all back. That's such a good story. Sequel. I'm running out of time.
Take another one right up here.
Hi, you guys on the have amazing chemistry.
Thank
Is
you.
it true you really get along that great?
Yeah, we do. We get along very well offset. As much offset as much on, as we are on set, and that's pretty rare for a show that's been on this long. Where we spent so much time together, but we really have, and I think it's because, I don't know. Johnny and Katie had worked for a long time since they were kids. They brought a great atmosphere of. Even Jim, especially Jim, is really sort of the beacon. He shows up. He has so much to say, and he knows his lines like I've never seen, and there's such an air of professionalism that it makes the work environment fun. Because in comedy, you have to be very specific. All those beats have to be so specific. So if you show up and you're not ready to work, or you kind of don't know your stuff and you're just winging it, it's a sloppy comedy. The only way this Big Bang works is because of the specificity of the moments, the specificity of the timing, and that only works with professionalism. And when you work with professional people, it's so loving, it's so lovely, and I think the respect for the work is really what binds us all together, and the respect for one another.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm from Mumbai and I'm from Delhi, but I won't hold it against you.
No, that's okay.
I actually came here 4 years ago, and the most often the question that I got asked was, "You're from India and you can speak English?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, it's true. And I want to know what's like the most famous question that you've always gotten being from India.
From India, you get two types of questions. You get the absolutely ridiculous questions, which is, do you have cars and roads in New Delhi? And then I like to play it down. I'm like, no, I have a camel in the back. And then, of course, you get the questions that are very intriguing about upbringing, like what was it growing up, like, telling people about how many cousins I had, and life was so surrounded around family. But the thing I learned is when I tell people about India, I realize a lot of people here or any other country in the world had the exactly same upbringing. It just looked, sounded, and smelled different, And I was known as smelly India too. That's just the reality. Is that that's the reality. Is I think people all over. That's why I hope this book sells in other countries too, because I hope people relate to that.
We have time for one last question. We'll take it from this lady here in the back.
There's so much more
Thank
fun.
you. I have Asperger's, like Jim's character does. How does he get into playing somebody with no emotion like that? I've got to ask.
It's a good question for Jim. I mean, I stay away from using a label on Shelvin like that because it's difficult to explain what he has, and maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I think he's very emotional and he just doesn't know how to express it. Jim is such an incredible actor because he's so completely different than his character. Like, we play in a fantasy football league together. Like, he loves NBA basketball. All we talk is about sports, and so he's not at all like Sheldon, as you can imagine.
I know that.
Yeah, I think he's just an incredible actor, and it's the same question we're all asking: how the hell does he do it? He's a brother to me. He's one of my best friends in the entire universe, and I can't tell you he's a magician. He's literally a magician, and he has that something that we all want. So I wish I could answer him better. So let me just take one more question. I'm not pulling the mic. The mic is gone. Sorry, Sean. Don't kill me. Come on.
No, Dave, we can't get a gentleman question here. We have just one second.
Okay, great. How's everyone's day going? Good? It's so hot in New York, man. I came from LA, I was like, I'm gonna wear like an overcoat and a nice suit. It's just like 85 degrees. You guys are like, hallelujah. And I'm like,
Yes, sir. This gentleman right here.
Really enjoyed this show. I got the biggest kick out of Howard's mom, who I think unfortunately passed.
yeah.
And I was wondering if you could tell us just a little bit about what she was like. And then a quick second question is that if the monkey that Amy used to do experiments with as he quit smoking yet?
That's a good question. I think he was smoking fake cigarettes. So I don't know if he... We had the other little monkey too, who was a rascal. He would just jump on you and start smashing your head like this, you know. We had a lot of monkeys on our show. One standing right here. I was like, it's too easy to put it. You know, Carol Ann Suisi, who unfortunately passed away very suddenly, it's tragic, very tragic. It's a little difficult to talk about it, but she was a short Italian woman, a roly-poly Italian woman with like crazy curly hair, and she would wear these like bright colors, bright personality, always smiling. You'd ask her anything, how's your day? She's like, are you kidding? It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I'm like, why are you yelling? Because I'm happy. You know, like, she was literally that person. She was always yelling, and for no reason, you know, like, and she never drove. She lived in LA for 25 years. She didn't drive. She would take the bus everywhere. And people on the bus would recognize her because of her voice. And I had this sports car that was very loud, you know. And I would give her a ride when I would see her at the bus stop. I'd give her a ride because we used to at one point live very close to each other. So she did in the car, and she'd be like, rev it up for me one time. And I would do that, and she'd like, sinking into the seat, and she would tell me about all of these like super like sexual stories about when she was dating. And then she died, man, and she was gone, you know, and she was suddenly just gone. And I think this year I really promised myself to enjoy all of this, because life is so fragile, and she really lived it to the fullest, and there's no point wasting time, because I don't know, you know. So, thank you.
One more round of applause for Kunal Nayyar. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. If you have a book that you wish to be signed, please remain seated. We're going to call you up row by row. If you haven't purchased the book yet and still wish to do so, we do have it available at the registers at the